Mike.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks to put me in front of following a world leader. So I guess, I'm personally invested in the vision and Jeff's energy. Jeff and I go back many decades. We've got that martial art combat sport bond that we joke about, but we've been friends for a long time now. So when Jeff was appointed as deputy chair for the games, I thought, God, Birmingham don't know what they've got hold of, and Jeff will make himself heard. So there is a legacy opportunity for the games, and we want it to be a meaningful one for the communities, and we want it to benefit yourselves as the providers of and the supporters for the communities in Birmingham. There is an ambition to do something different with legacy. I'm not in charge of a legacy budget, but I have positioned ourselves as Sport Birmingham to be in a place of influence in some of that budget. And I think, as Jeff says, there's a huge opportunity, a huge need here, but we need a little bit of seed funding to start something off. And that's what I'm committed to do, that's what I have committed to do with Jeff, to say, let's try and get some money out of whoever's funding the legacy for the Commonwealth Games. And that funding isn't very much. In fact, I should say, shouldn't I? So I know a lot of you here, but Sport Birmingham is one of 43 what are called active partnerships in England now. So there is, for those of my colleagues in the Black Country, I know there's some here, you've got active Black Country over there. They're not as big or as good as us, but they do that. But there's 43 of us covering England, and we've got a responsibility to bring investment into our place and then help as many people who deliver good community sports, physical activity for the places and the communities that need it most. That's the emphasis. We are funded about half by Sport England, so for those of you who've got a relationship and know Sport England, a lot of that money comes through lottery, a little bit through Exchequer, but we get around about £1 million from Sport England a year. There's 20 in my team, so we've got quite a small team, but as I say to everyone, our only job is to bring as much money into Birmingham and then to get it out to the people who can deliver and make a difference through sport and physical activity. So yes, we're about improving lives through sport, and we're about helping as many of you as possible. But we've only got so much money, the need is always greater than the funding that we have. So we've tried to think, okay, for the games, what money is around? And there is more interest in Birmingham, there is more funding being diverted to where inequality is greatest. And there are a couple of tangible things I need to tell you. So, Sport England are investing £10 million, that's it. That's the budget, that's the legacy budget for the Commonwealth Games from Sport England. Birmingham Council are investing, and I should know this number, around about £6 million. Okay? Not all in sport, but in legacy. The Sport England money is for sport and physical activity. £6 million is going to the national governing bodies of sport, many of you will have relationships with. And by next week, those governing bodies of the Commonwealth sports have to submit their proposals for how they will make a meaningful legacy for Birmingham, but also for the region. Okay? So that's all of those, and they're only going to be awarded up to £500,000 each. Okay? So that's coming late in the day, when we know how close the games is. This is really all very late in the day. And they'll be able to use that money up until the end of 23. Not a lot of money, spread out across the sports. The other 3 or 4 million, 3 million is coming to the places: Birmingham, Coventry, Solihull, Black Country. In Birmingham we have just shy of £1 million, which Sport Birmingham are holding the purse strings, working in partnership with everyone else. Part of that plan, delivery plan, that we have to resubmit next week, it has identified explicitly the community campus. There is another part of it that is identifying youth engagement and community work. Now, we were deliberately drawn down to a focus of around about half a dozen wards central to Birmingham, many of whom you will be active in or neighbours of. So there is some money coming to Birmingham, not a lot though, just shy of £1 million, and it's going to be spread out on a number of interventions. Linked to youth engagement and the campus, probably up to £250,000 collectively. That's better than a few thousand here and there. Separately, Sport England are further, did a number of you benefit and were connected into the Tackling Inequalities funding over the last couple of years? Maybe a few of you. Okay. That's now being called the Together Fund, and there's another couple of £100,000 coming into Birmingham for the next 12 months. Then there's another £140,000 coming into Birmingham for small grants. Gets complicated. Those two latter funds are going to be a one entry point. So it's not going to be like I've got to apply for that, I've got to apply for that. And the idea is that it's a very short form application. So after I'm going through specifics, I appreciate here. After this, we'll use with your permission, we can send out the details so you don't miss out on anything. We can't assume that you know or will find from our website what the opportunities are for funding. So there's some continued funding. There are some conditions on that funding in terms of places where it's meant to go, audiences it's meant to reach. But actually, my sense is that most of you are very much in that space or spaces anyway today. The exciting part is that we're going to have some seed funding to support the campus model. And therefore, that enables us to collect our impact, collect our work together and make a more powerful argument, which is the exciting part. Because you can't do a lot even with several £100,000, but it's a starting point that we've not had before, and it's specifically for this intervention. That's the exciting bit. It's not great, it's late in the day, but it's better than nothing. And my job, Sport Birmingham's job, is to reconvene the round table that we had, which a number of you came to a few meetings with, have more of you around that round table. So for those who don't even know what I'm talking about now, I apologise that you weren't invited because we didn't necessarily know and have your contact. So that was a starting number that gave us a sense that there was some belief in something greater than just continuing to struggle and get grants in and do your best week by week. So there is an opportunity. I am excited about it. Jeff is too, and it absolutely can provide a meaningful legacy element to the games that otherwise just wouldn't reach the communities that we care about. So that's a few words. Yeah, is that what you wanted?
Just about
Covered it. Thank you.